What if I pick a beautiful home but end up hating the community? What if the vibe is wrong? What if I'm isolated? I've seen people buy beautiful homes only to realize 6 months later that nobody in their neighborhood is their demographic. Where in many retirement communities, you're surrounded by people who arrive in November and leave in April. You can build a friendship and then your friend disappears for 7 months. And if you try to manage it like a solo mission, just calling listing agents off Zillow and hoping it all lines up, the stress will be significant. Every single week, I talk to people who've already toured Florida. They've done the research. They've been to Sarasota, Naples, maybe even the Villages. And then something made them pause. Something made them type Myrtle Beach versus Florida into YouTube at 11 o'clock at night. If that's you, welcome. Because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why so many pre-retirees are quietly choosing South Carolina over Florida for their last great move. And it's not the reason most people think. By the way, if you're already in that research phase and you're comparing states, neighborhoods, or just trying to figure out what your equity actually buys you down here on the Grand Strand, my team and I get calls and emails every single day from people in exactly your situation, and we genuinely love it. Whether your move is 90 days away or 18 months away, reach out. There's a link in the description and in the comments to schedule a free, no pressure conversation. Now, let's get into it. I want to be fair to Florida. It's a beautiful state, great weather, no income tax, and for a lot of retirees, it still makes perfect sense. But here's what I'm hearing consistently from buyers who end up calling me after they've already looked at Florida. Number one, it feels crowded. And not just the beaches, the roads, the neighborhoods, the Costcos. Florida has been absorbing retirees for decades, and the infrastructure in many areas is starting to feel it. Number two, the insurance situation. Homeowners insurance in Florida has become one of the biggest financial surprises for people relocating there. We're talking about rates that can run 3, 4, even 5 times what comparable coverage costs here in South Carolina. That hits the retirement budget hard, and a lot of buyers don't factor it in until it's too late. Number 3, and this one surprises people, the sense of community. Florida has so many transient residents, seasonal snowbirds, short-term renters, that in many areas it can actually feel harder to put down roots and build genuine friendships. And for pre or new retirees who are already nervous about the social side of this move, that matters enormously. So, why Myrtle Beach? Let me walk you through it. Let's start with the numbers, because this is where a lot of people get genuinely surprised. South Carolina does not tax Social Security income at the state level. For a couple drawing Social Security plus a pension or 401k distributions, that's real money staying in your pocket. Property taxes here are some of the lowest in the Southeast. When you claim a property as your primary residence in South Carolina, you qualify for what's called the 4% assessment ratio, which dramatically lowers your tax bill compared to what most of my clients were paying up north. And your equity, if you've been sitting in a home in New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, or Illinois for 20 to 30 years, you've likely built somewhere upwards of $500,000 in equity. That equity has enormous purchasing power here on the Grand Strand. We're talking about beautiful, right-sized homes. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, community amenities in the $350 to $550 range. In many cases, you can buy your next home outright. No mortgage, no payment, just a lifestyle. That financial freedom is something Florida, with its higher insurance costs and generally higher price points in desirable retirement markets, simply cannot match right now. Now let's talk about what I call the neighborhood mistake. This is the one thing that keeps my clients up at night more than anything else. Here's the fear. What if I pick a beautiful home but end up hating the community? What if the vibe is wrong? What if I'm isolated? This is 100% a legitimate fear. And it's one of the main reasons why I describe my role as a relocation architect rather than just a real estate agent. Because in Myrtle Beach, the neighborhood is the product. The house is secondary. Here's what I mean. The Grand Strand is roughly 60 miles of coastline with dozens of distinct communities, each with its own personality. You've got communities built around golf, active, social, weekend tournament culture, You've got communities with resort-style pools and amenity centers where the social calendar looks like a cruise ship. You've got quieter, established neighborhoods with mature trees and long-term residents who've been there for years and will invite you to their block party before you've even finished unpacking. The mistake buyers make, especially when they're trying to do this from 900 miles away by scrolling Zillow, is they fall in love with a house without understanding the culture of the community it sits in. I've seen people buy beautiful homes only to realize 6 months later that nobody in their neighborhood is their demographic. My job is to reverse engineer the community fit first. Before we ever look at floor plans or price per square foot, we talk about how you want to spend your Tuesday afternoons. That's where the real decision lives. Let me address something most agents won't bring up in a video like this: the social fear. For couples who've lived in the same home for 25 or 30 years, where you know the neighbors, you know the grocery store clerks, you're the person everyone comes to for the block party, the idea of starting over socially at 60 is genuinely terrifying. I hear it all the time. What if we move there and we're lonely? Here's what I've observed after a decade of helping people land here. Myrtle Beach has one of the highest concentrations of people who have made exactly the same move you're considering. Your future neighbors are also from Ohio or New Jersey. They also left behind their social circle. They also went through this exact fear. And because of that, the communities here have an almost instant built-in social infrastructure. People are eager to connect. The pickleball courts, the wine clubs, the neighbor dinners, they happen fast. Contrast that with Florida, where in many retirement communities, you're surrounded by people who arrive in November and leave in April. You can build a friendship and then your friend disappears for 7 months. Here, the people around you have committed. They made the same last great move that you're making, and they're staying. That changes the social dynamic completely. Let's talk logistics, because this is where a lot of relocations fall apart. You have a home to sell in the north. You have a purchase to coordinate down here. You've potentially got a gap in the middle where you need somewhere to live, and all of it needs to happen while you're still working, still managing life, still emotionally processing what is one of the biggest transitions of your adult life. The multi-state move is not a standard real estate transaction. It is a project. And if you try to manage it like a solo mission, just calling listing agents off Zillow and hoping it all lines up, the stress will be significant. What I do for my clients is serve as the connective tissue for the entire process. I maintain relationships with trusted agents in the markets my clients are coming from. I have a vetted network of vendors down here, inspectors, insurance agents, moving companies, contractors. And when the sale up north gets rocky, because it often does, my job is to be the calm voice that says, here's the plan, here's what we do next. One of my clients recently told me, Layne just had this calm way of handling everything. When the sale up north got rocky, she was the steady hand we needed to keep our dream on track. That's the standard I hold myself to for every single client. Here's the thing I want to leave you with before we wrap up. This isn't just a real estate transaction. For most of my clients, this is the most significant life decision they've made since they bought their first home. It represents the culmination of decades of hard work, sacrifice, and delayed gratification. You spent 30 years shoveling snow. You spent 30 years in a high-tax state funding everyone else's budget. You built equity. You raised your family. You did the thing. This move is the reward. And the question isn't really South Carolina or Florida. The real question is, do you want to spend your next chapter somewhere that was built for people like you? Somewhere the neighbors have committed, the taxes are low, the coast is beautiful, and the social life is waiting? Or do you want to spend the next year second guessing it from your living room in February while it snows outside? Myrtle Beach is ready for you. The question is whether you're ready for Myrtle Beach. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment below to schedule your relocation discovery call. We'll talk about where you are, where you want to be, and what the path actually looks like for your specific situation. And if you're not quite ready for that conversation yet, that's okay too. I've linked another video right here you'll find informative. Watch that next. It'll help you to continue narrow down exactly which neighborhoods fit your lifestyle. Please remember to save this video for future reference and share it if you know someone else who is interested. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. I put out new content every week specifically for people making this move. I'm Layne. I'll see you in the next one.